Friends, socialism in general has a record of failure so blatant that only an intellectual could ignore or evade it. Thomas Sowell said that. Speaking of intellectuals, professor types, we have with us today one of those moderate socialists, calls himself a Republican. Stay tuned.
It's time for the Newsmaker Show on News Talk AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Kevin Torres.
Yes, as I said to Pat Buchanan, how are you supposed to vote? You got socialists, the Democrats, and moderate socialists, the Republicans. I'll put that question to you, Dr. Bob.
Haven't we talked about this before,
Yes,
Kevin?
but not everybody listens every week, Bob.
Oh, I see. We're going to catch the laggards in the listening audience.
Don't call my listeners laggards,
well, there's
buddy.
some, who just don't tune us in on a regular basis.
Oh,
not many.
God
not
forgive
many
them.
from what I hear out there. But
Well, I was told by somebody very prominent that people in Alfred don't listen to us.
Or
don't listen to me. Maybe they listen to you.
Well, so where are we here? Whom to vote for? We vote for moderate Republicans. That's what we vote for, Kevin. We move this country ahead.
I don't want to go ahead. I want to go back.
I know that. We all are aware of that. Well, now we have it in your own words.
Well, let me tell you what Thomas Sowell said. I got a Thomas Sowell thing here.
I see that.
Emailed to me by the former mayor of Canisteo, very
prominent person.
Enlightened fellow, yes. Quote, much of the social history of the Western world over the past 3 decades has been a history of replacing what worked with what sounded good, unquote.
Yes.
Very true, yeah.
Democracy will do that.
Baloney.
When you let everybody vote, why, they have all kinds of
dumb ideas.
Yeah. Some of which don't work very well at all.
Speaking of things that don't work, what do you think the future, now I'm serious this time, I want your actual enlightened answer. What is the future of Obamacare? Let's fast forward to January 2015. What do you think the future of...
2015 is still, I think, a little close, but if you were to fast forward, say, 5 or 10 years, there will be a national system of health insurance in place. And it is true, I think you've made this point several times, that some of these people are obstructing it and basically confusing it because they'd like to see what is called a single-payer
guys like you
approach. No, Kevin, you keep saying that.
Well, you said it.
That's
where...
again and again.
All right, what did you say?
Again and again. I don't know, but that it makes a lot more sense to work with the private insurance companies who have had years of experience with dealing with health insurance, who have actuarial studies to know how to deal with various diseases and in terms of cost, and they got all kinds of ideas of how people deal and how the medical, how to deal with hospitals and medical suppliers. I mean, they have years of experience at doing this. Now, why wouldn't you let them be part of it and allow them to compete?
How about doctors? Can doctors?
Well, the point is that the government bureaucrats have no idea really what's going. I mean, they're totally fresh at
They
this.
can't even win wars anymore, Bob. Let's tell the truth.
Where did we go here? I thought we were talking about
the government
health insurance.
manages to screw up everything. And boy, when they got into health care, I don't think even they realized how bad they were going to look.
Well,
so I asked you what's going to be. Now I'll tell you what's going
to be in place. In which you have...
Let me tell you what's going to happen, Bob.
Oh, well, I was going to tell him. I thought he asked.
You already did.
Oh.
We're going to have single payer. No, we're not.
No, I don't think you can.
No, I think what you're going to have is a revolt among the people. I don't mean an armed revolt. There's going to be a revolt starting now, of course, but wait till January 1st rolls around. Then we're really going to see the soup hit the fan, pal. And they're going to throw these rascals out, these socialists who gave us this. And then in January of 2015, we're going to see a return to Americanism. That's what I really predict is going to happen.
Yes, well, okay, we'll mark that prediction down.
Well, I'll be glad to say it now, and I'll be glad to say it next month. And
we're
I'll
all
say
in favor of Americanism. That would be
Nah,
good.
but
to go
depends
back
on
to
how you
American.
define it, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does, doesn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, but it doesn't have anything to do with the Republican moderates or certainly the Democrat socialists. Nah.
So even the Republican moderates are being pushed off to the margins.
Absolutely. That's where they belong, right out of there, Bob.
I see. Someone with real standards and real
You got
values.
it. You
should be
got it.
taken.
Now, you're beginning
Do you
to
know
wake
anyone
up.
like that?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Rand Paul.
I see. Uh-huh.
Ted Cruz to a much lesser degree. To a much lesser degree, I said.
Oh.
I got
My
turned off by
goodness,
Ted.
Kevin, you've been.
Let me tell you why I got turned off by Ted Cruz.
Oh.
His wife was
No,
named.
his wife.
Was
I get
yeah,
this.
but I assume he has something to say in his home. If he doesn't, I don't want him to be the president. His wife became a member of the board of directors of the big Wall Street. What is it? Goldman Sachs.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Now
There's
you
a
know
little
what
money
they're
to be
doing.
made out there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
She and Hillary Clinton at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a friend of mine said the other day, the big money interests own both parties,
Well, I think they're pretty influential in
except
both
for Rand
parties.
Paul.
I see. Yes.
And you're going to go with Chris Christie, who's not going to make it. Stop wasting your time on Chris
I
Christie.
think Chris Christie.
He's not going to make
the
it,
elephant
Bob.
from New Jersey has.
He's not going to make it.
I think what you're seeing today, and increasingly, is that Boehner and some of the more right-thinking Republicans
Uh-huh.
are telling these really marginal right-wing
Patriotic
types
people, yeah.
that we're moving on, and you can snip and snipe, and we understand you have elections to win and such, but all these people, with your help, Kevin,
I
are
hope so.
doing is undercutting moderate republicanism, and unfortunately, that
Well, listen,
will
I
give
will.
the country back
I
to
will-
the Democrats.
I will give you this: moderate Republicans do less damage than Democrats. But if we want to restore this country to what made it great,
And what was that? What was that made us great, Kevin?
individual rights, the American dream, however you want to
the
define
American
that.
dream. There we go,
All right,
folks.
getting the
Wait,
government out
we're-
of my life,
We're dreaming
stopping
now.
the spying on the American people.
Well, I don't know whether that can ever stop now.
Well, by
Certainly
golly, if it-
Republicans and Democrats have
if
both
it-
been doing it.
If it doesn't, then it's all over anyway, isn't it?
Well, what's over? The American
Freedom.
dream is going.
No,
poof,
freedom.
Like that, like
Freedom.
poof.
You know, Bob, everything you say on your cell phone, and you have a lot to say,
I
is
don't
all.
talk on my cell phone
Well,
much at all.
I know you're onto this. You know they're listening to you.
Yes.
The government under Barack Obama, and as you said last week, wait till the Clintons get it, they've got a record of all that. You think guys like you and me are going to have a fighting chance in the future? No, not when those scoundrels return and take
I
office.
think you underestimate the basic cleverness of the American individual.
Don't ever underestimate the what kind of vote, Bob?
Well, we'll let that go.
Yeah.
Not on the air, Kevin, please.
Well, let's say the dummy vote, all
yeah,
right?
Well, yeah.
Don't underestimate the dummy
Or
vote.
the non-sensitive vote, you might
Yes,
say.
there you
Yes,
go.
yes.
Right. Okay. Well, what else out there, Bob, you want to talk about? I'm sure you're very upset
Well-
about what's happening in Ukraine.
Yeah, well, I think the Ukrainians are making it known that they're not interested in becoming part of the Soviet bloc again.
That's right. And that's what's going to happen in this country, Bob. We're going to
Right.
say, we don't want some guy leading us into socialism. We don't want it.
Well, I don't. Are you suggesting that Obama is leading anybody anywhere? I mean, the
Well, he
guy's
wants
just
to.
kinda
Let's put it that
wandering
way.
around in a fog, the way I read it.
I don't think he does. You
Well,
know,
there you go again.
what? No, I think
the
he knows.
economy is taking off. It's going
for-
gangbusters. Unemployment's
Hey, what
dropping.
ball game are you in, Bob?
Well, the unemployment's down to 7%.
Yeah, and if you,
The
yeah.
stock market is hovering right around 16,000.
All right, Bob. Let me stop you right there. Why
I mean,
is
it's just going bonkers.
why
Kevin.
is the stock market doing so well, Bob?
Because investments
No,
and
no.
sale and
No,
our exports have gone
no,
way
no.
up.
Oh, God help us.
And so the economy is just booming.
Do you
right
have an
up.
economics department up there at Alfred?
Well, we used to have.
Well, you ought to go over and ask him why the stock market is going up so much. Actually, it's
You
been
know,
going
if
down
they
the
knew
last few
anything,
days.
Kevin, why wouldn't they be as rich as we are?
Huh? Listen, the stock market's
if
going
the
up
economists were
because
so
the
smart,
because
why
the
wouldn't
Fed is pouring our money into it. Your dollars and my dollars, more yours than mine, are going in to keep the stock market up. Don't you know that? The Federal
I don't
Reserve
know that at all. I think the Federal Reserve, you're right. The Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates way down.
They're putting money into the stock market.
No, they're not putting it into the stock
Well, what
market.
do you think that, listen, if you came out, well, what happened when Bernanke said, we might not keep up this bailout of Wall Street?
Dropped.
The market went right down. I mean, because they know.
Everybody sold their bonds and stuff back to the Federal Reserve. I mean, what kind of simple-minded approach do you have here?
Simple-minded.
Oh, my goodness, Kevin, even Pat Buchanan would know better than this.
Pat Buchanan would say exactly what I'm saying, that this is a false thing. And let me give you another example. I hate to have to explain all this to a professor.
Yeah, well,
but
I think the Chinese are running around wishing they'd been a little more friendly to us.
Are you kidding? They're going to own us. Listen, Bob, if you were to take the cost of living system they used in 1990 and use it today, the inflation rate would be at 10%. But see, they can take numbers out. They took out things like gas and food. Well, naturally, if you never buy any gasoline, never buy any food, I don't know what you do.
Food has been taken out.
It certainly has, Bob. You better check on these things.
Consumer Price Index?
Yes, Bob.
I
This is all phony. This thing. Well, we know now. We have a pretty good idea. At least some people do. That Barack Obama's colleagues from Chicago were fooling around with the unemployment figures just before the election.
And I don't know about his colleagues from Chicago, but yes.
Well, who else would do it?
Well, the point is that I think it was out of Philadelphia. The guy was told, "Look, you got to make these look positive." The fact that they were doing surveys on unemployment and they weren't getting
now you're
all the
coming
responses,
to it. Yeah.
So they filled in responses with a fairly positive response.
They're lying,
This
Bob.
is what the guy would have said if we'd have been able to talk to him.
They're lying, and they've caught him in so many lies. I'm going to make another prediction. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
I predict to you, Bob, that if the Republicans get enough, I think they're going to get both the Senate and the House. But if they get enough of them, there will be a move to impeach and throw out of office Barry Soretto or whatever his name
I can
was.
see a move to impeach coming down the pike. Yes,
Because
but they're not going to throw him out.
Huh?
It takes 2/3 vote of the Senate.
I know it,
You're
but
not
by
gonna
that
do
time, even the Democrats, who are going to take a terrible pasting because of this guy next year, even the Democrats will say, yeah, it's not worth it. Joe Biden ain't much, but he's better than this guy. And I think Biden, way deep down underneath all of the, well, never mind. Beneath all of it, he's probably a patriot. This guy is not a patriot, the guy we got in there now. He's not a patriot. He might be patriotic to his father, or whoever that may have been. He may have been patriotic to Kenya. Well,
again, you're getting carried away, and this is the sort of thing that really hurts the Republicans. This sort of personalized, individualized, subjective attack on this fine man who has been trying to lead our country. And notice his hair is turning totally gray, Kevin.
Yeah.
Because he worries about our country.
He's worrying about his golf score, pal.
I'm not suggesting that
he's worrying that Benghazi will finally the truth will get out. Yes.
But
he's worried about the IRS scam. He's worried about all that stuff, pal. That's what he's worried about.
If I were he, I'd be worried about all these drones I've been sending over to Pakistan.
Because they can send them back someday.
I'm afraid that's true. And
that's in the future. They're going to send it back.
I would worry about that if I were, but he really thinks that's a great thing. So, at any rate, the point is the Republicans should concentrate on the basic issues, and that is our position in world affairs, our treatment of the domestic economy, things of that sort, where we basically would like the American people to focus their attention. But the media it's so superficial today that
that's true.
When you have to sit there and listen to Al Sharpton.
I don't.
I mean,
yeah,
it's sick. It's sick out there.
Al Sharpless, right? Mm-hmm. You want another famous quote from Thomas Sowell?
I don't have much use for Thomas Sowell.
You're kidding me.
He's not a very nice guy.
Well, I don't know about that, but he's a very bright guy.
Interactions I've had with him.
Well,
in the
maybe he
conservative
doesn't
group.
like you. I don't know. Maybe.
No, he is a very bright guy. I
Yeah.
give you that. But he.
Thomas Sowell, I think this man, Obama, really does believe he can change the world. And people like that are infinitely more dangerous than mere
No, I
crooked
agree
politicians.
with that 100%.
Wait a minute, you didn't let me finish.
Well,
They're infinitely more dangerous than mere crooked politicians.
Yeah. Well, I think he's overstating Obama's ambitions there. The idea. I think Obama is so happy he's sitting there in the White House.
Got a
able to-
jet.
You got it. Spend whatever he needs.
He and Michelle, yeah.
Get
I
up
think
and-
you think Michelle's a little ticked off at him for having his picture taken with that good looker.
Well, I think Michelle is probably not a real pleasant lady. to
Oh, I don't imagine
interact
she
with. I
is.
think she's pretty.
Well, according to
strong-willed.
Reverend Wright,
Oh yes, Reverend Wright.
he said that she wanted to dump him after he lost his congressional bid, and that he, Wright, saved the
stepped
marriage.
in and saved the marriage.
Yeah, he said that on television. Yeah.
Maybe he did. He may have.
Yeah.
Well, we can thank then Reverend Wright for
We can?
helping to move this guy to the forefront of American politics.
Yeah.
Now the problem is the guy just doesn't know what he's doing. That's the
I think
problem.
he does know what he's doing.
Well, there you go. We have a fundamental disagreement.
I can't
any
wait
other
to get off the
disagreement?
air so I can find out why Thomas Sowell doesn't like you. I got it.
Well, he doesn't know me from Adam, so that's another reason.
Well,
not
how
to
then-
like him.
how
He
then-
should- He should be reading my books.
Well, wait a minute now.
Why should I be reading his books? He could read my books.
Well,
and learn
listen,
something.
here's the other thing. Why, if the guy doesn't know you from Adam, how could he have irritated you? What did he do to you? What did he say?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I have to know that.
Well, I know you do, but
Not on
I
the
don't
air?
know that
Not on the air.
the listening public needs to know that. They
All
can
right,
just
okay.
take my word for it.
All right, well, I will, but I want to find out why when we're off the air. I'll tell you why I don't like Mannion.
Well, I don't care why you. And
Well,
neither does
Mannion's your
anyone
buddy.
else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess he is.
Yes, he's your buddy,
He's been
right.
pretty good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, he's wonderful. All right.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but
Yeah,
go
well-
ahead, Kevin. So much for this personal. People don't care about this one. way or another.
Well, I think they do care about what's happening in Ukraine, because that could be a preview of coming attractions of what's going to happen in
think
this
we'll
country.
have a Eastern European spring. Revolutions in the streets.
I think it's possible. Demonstrations in the street, not revolutions. Yeah, I think it's possible.
Yeah. Well.
Wait till people find out.
I
Listen,
think
let me leave you with one final thought.
Oh.
There's a young lady. She's a young lady. Age is relative, as you know. But she's
yes.
in her childbearing years. Graduate of Canisteo or Hornell High. Probably Hornell. Lives in a metro area. I happen to know this lady. And she has high-risk pregnancies, right?
Yes.
And she's about to give birth. And she told my wife, because we know her quite well, that she's now in a metro hospital with a high-risk pregnancy team that will evaluate her and save the baby and her in this high-risk pregnancy thing. And all I could think to myself was, in 5 years, if Obamacare continues, there won't be any high-risk pregnancy team at that hospital. There probably won't even be people getting into that hospital. You can't go to the Mayo Clinic under it. You can't go to Sloan Kettering. Do you think the people are going to stand by and let this yahoo in Washington and his fellow yahoos like Grandpa Reed tell them where and when they can go to the
No,
doctor?
I think there's definitely changes that are going to be made in
You
it.
betcha,
Oh,
brother.
absolutely. And I think there are plenty of politicians that will stand up and say, this has to be done. because
Even
there's
some
a little
Democrats.
credit to be gained from that.
Even some Democrats.
It's
Yeah.
just like this knockout phase that we've had in some of the cities where
Yeah.
kids
The
just walk
knockout
up
game. Yeah.
Well, sure enough, I'm watching YNN, and there's a state assemblyman is going to introduce a bill in New York State to make it illegal to go knocking people out. Now, let me inform you that it's already illegal to go knocking people out.
I hope so.
You can't do that in New York State.
Yeah.
I don't know about Texas, Oklahoma, but the point is, sure enough, there's somebody going to get up and try to take credit for something like that.
It's not Chuck Schumer for a change, right? Yeah.
It'd be a lot more constructive to have somebody get up and take credit for some improvements in the health care program.
All right. Okay. Well, that's on that happy note. Since I want to get off the air and hear about why Tom Sowell doesn't like you,
Yeah,
but we'll
keep listening, folks. Yeah.
I'll stay tuned now for more news and information on AM 1480. Dr. Heineman, thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure once
I
again.
don't think
Kevin.
so. All right. Thank you.